everybody. Welcome to Takeoff with John Clark. We appreciate you listening to this podcast, and please rate and review it. And if you haven't subscribed for free, please subscribe for free. We're going to be talking Eagles over the next couple of weeks. We've got a special guest coming up next week, but we've got two good guests this week. Barrett Brooks, he's going to talk about the 53-man roster and the roster cuts. And joining us right now, Anthony Harris, the new Eagles safety. You're going to get to know him a little bit. So thanks for listening, everybody. All right, let's welcome in new Eagles safety, Anthony Harris. And Anthony, of course, you're getting a feel of Philadelphia now. And then good news this week, Rodney McLeod, for the first time, is out there. Now, it's only individual drills, but how important is it to see Rodney out there? Because you guys want to form a pretty good safety tandem back there, right?
Yeah, I think that's an exciting time. Another step for him. But to get him back out there is exciting. As a player, as a teammate, as a friend, somebody who's known him for a while, it's nice to see him back out there doing what he loves. And then as a teammate, it's nice to have a guy like that who's a leader, sets a good example to be able to get back out there on the field with us.
You guys have a really cool relationship. I think there was some mentoring involved, right? Is it hard to build the chemistry with him when he hasn't been able to be on the field at all?
Well, I think we just have that natural connection in terms of being able to communicate with each other, talking a lot of football, having some experience of, being in the same locker room from college. It's just an opportunity for us to, continue to build, continue to talk football, and continue to spread our experience not only between one another, between the group and the rest of the team.
Now, it's probably been tough. You're coming into a new system, a new team, and building continuity. Kayvon Wallace has kind of been in and out. You've got some other safeties back there. Is the hope that Rodney will be out there for the season opener?
Yeah, I think that's the key thing is like continuing to gel with everybody. Getting to know your teammates. For myself, that's been a challenge in terms of just getting everybody in the locker room. And in terms of working with different people, we want to develop that type of depth, in the team, not just at safety, but at all the positions. So, getting to work with different people and work with the different talents, it's been exciting. It's been a challenge, but at the same time, it's been something that we've all embraced and we just attacked on a day-to-day basis.
Now, I heard from you that it was important for you to not only build that relationship on the field, but get to know your teammates in the locker room. What's that like, kind of building that bond with everybody, especially on defense?
Yeah, I think, when you get to know people deep down and you know their story, where they come from, what they've been through, you really get to become a fan of the person and a fan of the work that they're out there doing. So to be able to understand the background that the different players come from, knowing, that the things that they want to get accomplished, you become, one of their biggest supporters, not just from the hopes of, they can help us do some positive things on the field, but from an individual standpoint, the things that they're trying to get accomplished, and you just can cheer for them that much more.
Now, obviously, you guys only had 2 preseason games this year, but Nick Sirianni talks about the joint practices being really, really good work. Are you going to be ready physically and knowing the system for the season?
Yeah, that's what it's about, going out there and competing. And the joint practices, from my experiences, have been great. And then this year, having them, twice, seeing 2 different teams, getting those 2 practices against them before the preseason. They feel really intense in terms of, going out there, the physicality, but then also, some of the things you want to try to get done from a scheme standpoint, you get to work that a little bit more and kind of, cut it loose a little bit. So, everybody's excited for the season, and we're just ready to get going and get things going.
So you're new in this city. Jonathan Gannon is new coaching staff. Can you tell Philly what a Jonathan Gannon defense is going to feel like or look like?
Ton of energy. That's our philosophy, hustle, intensity, takeaways. So everybody's just, focusing on executing, doing their job, being where they're supposed to be. But once the ball declares where it is, whether it's a run or pass, we want to get all 11 hats to the ball and, play with physicality and a ton of energy. And then just go around and have fun and try to be successful as much as possible.
So I know he is preaching takeaways and go up there, strip the ball away in practice. Does he even have rewards at all? Does he have a reward system for guys who are getting takeaways or stripping the ball away?
Well, I think, that the rewards are kind of built in themselves. As a defensive player, you don't get the chance to get the ball in your hands a lot. So for a lot of times when you get that ball in your hand, whether it's a fumble or interception, that's a ton of excitement, not only for yourself, but for the team, for the other defensive players. You get that escort heading the other way, and then in terms of, celebrating, taking pictures, and doing all those things, that's the kind of reward that you get. The reward is, doing all the tough things, running each play, not knowing when the ball's going to pop out or when you're going to be in position. And then when you're finally there and it happens, that's the reward is, all those other reps of maybe not being there, maybe it not popping out, and that one time is that excitement.
Now, he had 7 interceptions a couple years ago, including the playoffs, and that was the most in the NFL. How much is that from your preparation and your studying, read and react from that knowledge you have going into games?
Yeah, I think, from an interception standpoint, it's hand to hand. You have to have a good pass rush. You have to be able to execute in the back end. You have to be able to trust all the people around you and everybody to be in the right place at the right time. It's not something you can just run around and freelance and make plays. It's really just about, studying, knowing the game plan, knowing the offense, knowing yourself, knowing where everybody is, and knowing when the opportunity is there, and then just taking advantage of it. And sometimes you just be in the right spot and the quarterback throws it to the wrong person. All
right, so you got Matt Ryan in week 1 against the Atlanta Falcons, and you intercepted him twice in a game a couple years ago. Is that from really good preparation of knowing Matt Ryan, or how much of that is what was happening during the game?
I think you just want to execute. For me, not to go back too far in the past, but it was really just, being in the right place, playing with the right technique, using the right eyes, doing all the things you're coached to be doing, and then just going to play once you've done your job, whether that's flying to the ball, being in the right spot, or whether it's just a good coverage and a good matchup. So going into this year is really just about focusing on what I need to do to help this team win, focus on my individual assignments, and then just go and play ball.
So Philly, what can they expect from you?
I think they can expect a guy who's going to go out there and just, play all, cut it loose in terms of just flying around, being where I'm being told to do, taking the coaching, and then once that's all I handle, just going to play football and playing with a ton of energy and a ton of passion.
Now, you're undrafted. You became a starter in Minnesota. As I said, you were among the league leaders in categories. Only got a 1-year deal here to come to Philly. Do you kind of have a chip on your shoulder to kind of show everybody you deserve a long-term deal?
I think every time you step on the field, you got to go out there and prove something. Whether you're on a 1-year deal or a multi-year deal, you're out there to prove, hey, I'm a player that deserves to be on the field. I'm a player who's earned, what I have right now, and I'm a player who's going to earn what's there for me in the future. So that's mainly the mentality, is just taking advantage of the opportunity. I feel like I'm in a good situation in terms of guys in the locker room, coaching staff. So I'm really just soaking it all in and just excited to play some football.
So the Eagles offense, we saw them do really well in the joint practices against the Jets and the Patriots. Now, it could just be me and my observations. They don't seem to do as good against the Eagles defense in training camp. How important of a role do you guys have in getting your offense ready for the season?
Yeah, well, we want to challenge each other, Dan. That's the challenge each day, is to come out and compete. From a defensive standpoint, we want to win every day, and from an offensive standpoint, they want to win every day. So, unfortunately, both teams can't win at practice, but we're going out there and we're challenging each other, and we're saying that, hey, we want to go out and be one of the best defenses, and we want to challenge our offense to go out there and be productive as well, and that's how we make each other better, is just competing each day, learn from the things that are happening, and just continue to strive.
Nick Sirianni says there's like a win and a loss on every rep in practice. Do you see the list? Do you know whether the defense has done better than the offense?
Yeah, that's part of it. Going out there, competing, watching the film, taking a look at the good plays, taking a look at the bad plays, learning from both, and then being transparent on, who's winning reps, what we're doing, if the offense won, if the defense won, creating that competitive environment, and trying to see if we can start streaks of how many times we're winning and going back and forth. And that's what's creating that fun environment and hopefully just, helping us to get better each day.
Who won camp?
We need to check that one out. We haven't done an overall who won camp. It's just kind of been on a, day-to-day basis of, hey, the offense won today, the defense won today, what we're going to do tomorrow. In the weight room, we're keeping track of, who's lifting what. So that way we're always trying to strive to get better each day and just trying to take advantage of that.
What are some of the motivational techniques that Nick Sirianni has employed with you guys and some videos that he showed you? What has resonated the most with you? I know, did he show an Aaron Rowan video, the Phillies player who crashed into the center field wall, putting it all on the line kind of thing?
I'm not sure if he showed that one.
Yeah.
He's getting creative. That's the one thing I can tip my hat to him. Is the creativity with the different videos and the different things that he's doing to get the message across. So ultimately it's just about, getting that message out there and making sure everybody in the locker room receives it, is on point with that. And as long as that's been, the points getting across, then it's all good.
Give us an idea of what it's like to face the Eagles offense and what could make it effective. The receivers, tight ends, running backs, even catching the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of weapons. You take a look at what we have at the receiving core, the tight end position, the strength of the offensive line, and then, Jalen with the ability to use his arm as well as use his legs. that dual threat has been tough. So he's doing a good job for us. So, giving us different looks, and I'm excited for the season, and everybody's ready to go.
We see the Instagram, I think Darius Slay, or we got to call him Slay. He does not like to be called Darius.
Yeah,
he caught you napping on the bus, which is acceptable, right?
I caught him napping on the bus. Yeah, I caught him napping on the bus. So that was kind of one of those things where he had been getting guys, catching them napping. And I saw it as an opportunity, kind of create a little challenge of I got him and he's been getting everybody else.
What kind of guy is he in the secondary? Because he's talking all the time.
Oh, yeah. He has a ton of energy. He's exciting to play by, played a lot of football, had a lot of success. So his ability to, be able to be that fun, energetic player off the field, even on the field, and then, turn it on and be able to lock in and focus in on what we have to get done. It's exciting. It's a lot of fun.
Now, you're new here to Philly, but you were already doing so much in the community, and we're at Dick's Sporting Goods, and you're going to, it's a secret, but you're going to be taking some kids to get ready for school and get them some supplies for school.
Yeah.
Where does that come from that you want to help out so much?
I just think, my childhood growing up, my past experiences, having a number of people out in the community, whether it was family, friends, coaches, older athletes, always, pitching little messages and little insight on, what I can do to get better, help providing me with different things I might need, maybe a pair of cleats or something like that. So today, the opportunity to come here and be able to support some kids, help them with some back-to-school things, as well as pick out a couple of items in terms of, some of the things that they love to do with sports. I feel like that's important. I feel like, being that support system of, hey, keep doing positive things, keep doing what you're supposed to do in the classroom, and you'll get rewards for it.
And how about your Dream Builders initiative, helping foster kids in Philly and the Philly area? Why does that mean so much to you?
Yeah, I think, once you're able to get to a certain position like myself, you always want to remember where you came from. You always want to be grateful for that. And continue to inspire people. I think that's one of the most powerful things you can do is your ability to inspire somebody else to do something positive and continue to grow and chase some of the things that they want to chase. So for kids in the foster home who may not feel like they have the support or maybe not have the support that they'd like, to be able to support them and say, hey, despite the odds or whatever you think of the position you're in, you still can do some really great things, and there's people out there who will support you along the way.
And how can people in the Philly area help out with that?
Yeah, I think it's about just being aware, reaching out to, some of your local organizations, say, hey, how can I help out myself and a number of other people are out here just trying to, be helpful as much as possible. So it's just all about, reaching out in different areas and trying to connect with people.
Now, I think I read that if you weren't playing football, you might be a mentor or you want to help other people out. You also said you had an interest in music, maybe possibly DJing. So I want to ask you about the music at practice, at camp. Who has been the best DJ? Who has had the best mix? Because I know Jalen Hurts. I know he had a day.
Yeah.
Who has had the best mix of songs for training camp?
I'm not sure who the DJ is.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the music that we've been having playing. Oftentimes in the locker room, Hurts has been on the music and on the field, and then Slay as well. So I'm not quite sure who's been the best DJ because I'm not sure who it's been, but so far it's been good, and I'm just looking to continue to build with that energy, and music is a passion of mine as well, so I enjoy it.
Did you get to have a day where you're the DJ?
No. My whole day was just like, come out, focusing on football, let those guys handle the music. It's kind of a lot of pressure. There's a lot of people out there on the field listening to the music, so, you want to try to please people, but at the end of the day, I just enjoy football, so I tried to focus on that.
How about Jalen Hurts as a leader? Because Quez Watkins told us he's not just got the receivers behind him and with him, he's got the entire team.
Yeah.
How does he do that?
I'm not really sure. It's something about him. It's like a little aura that kind of comes off of him and how he comes across to people. He's just been very vocal, and then he's also been a guy who's out there doing the extra work after practice. He's doing the routes with the receivers. He's asking questions, what coverage is this? What coverage is that? How do you see this? How do you see that? So I just think his urge to continue to keep learning is something that everybody's picking up on, and his ability to continue to challenge people, not only on the field, but like guys have spoken about through the hallways, asking them play calls, where they're supposed to be, what routes they have. It's just always that love and passion to continue to grow.
You get some pop quizzes too sometimes?
No, I haven't gotten any,
Okay.
but I've been listening to him on there, just kind of, taking it all in, and really just being a guy who's supporting him from that distance and telling him, you're doing a good job, keep it up. and different things of that sort.
Before we let you go, I heard you've been impressed with the sports culture of Philly.
Mm-hmm.
What impresses you the most about the culture? There's fanatics here in Philly about sports. What does impress you the most about that?
I think it's just that, the passion that the fan base has here. Oftentimes it gets talked about, sometimes they're too passionate or they can come off as rude, but at the end of the day, I think that's part of, what I dreamed about. I've dreamed about that large platform where the fans, very diehard and very through and through, and they're going to challenge you each day. So, it's just all about, holding yourself accountable, continue to go out prepared, put in the time, put in the effort, and then just pitch your best foot forward and go after it. So, I'm excited to get in the stadium, feel that energy, and just go out and play some football.
Well, we appreciate the time here, and it's great what you're doing for the community as well. You're really jumping right into it and helping people out, even before you played a game, a real game. So we appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right, let's bring in former Eagle and, of course, Eagles post-game live analyst Barrett Brooks. And Barrett, the 53-man roster is out. You want to talk about it?
Definitely, man. You could tell this team wanted to go very, very youthful on how they approach and attack this season, man. You look at the offensive line. There's all the guys are 2019 and above as far as being backups. You got, Jack Driscoll, 2020, Brett Toth, 2019, Nate Herbig, 2019. You got Andre Dillard, 2020, and then you have Landon Dixon, 2021. So we're talking about a youthful team on the offensive side of the ball. Even the tight end position, they let go of a guy that I really thought was going to make the squad, and they decided to bring in Tyree Jackson, former quarterback from Buffalo, Jack Stoll from Nebraska, tight end. They gave him an opportunity to play. He played well. So you can see the youth movement in this team as they go forward.
All right. Now, when we look at the receivers, they obviously chose J.J. Arcega-Whiteside over John Hightower and Travis Fulgham. Nick Sirianni came in here preaching competition, and as he said to all the players in all the meetings, whoever competes the best and shows they're the best is going to get the job. So do you like that, okay, Travis Fulgham had a great month last year, but if he didn't beat out J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, then J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is going to be on the team?
Well, at the end of the day, he played well enough the last game to give him a spot on this squad. And, that's exactly what he did. Travis Fulgham didn't do enough. You can't live off last year's hype. It's what have you done for me lately type of league. At the end of the day, he knew he had to play extraordinary to beat out the young talent that they brought on this team. They wanted speed. He's not a speed guy, but he could have went out there and played aggressive, went up there, high pointed balls. That's what they wanted him to do, but he didn't do it. You look at, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, he did that. They gave him an opportunity. He went out there and performed when he needed to perform. He turned heads enough to get him put on this squad. So at the end of the day, it's what have you done for me lately, not what you did for me last year. And that's a problem with a lot of these guys, and now they're on the street. Richard Rodgers was a guy that, played well for this Eagles team. He blocked well for this Eagles team. But the youth that came in, the Tyree Jacksons, the Jack Stalls, made the squad because they went out there and produced. It's an offensive-minded type of mindset. So they had to go out there and produce. He didn't do it.
Now, if you're saying you need a yard at the goal line or a 4th and 1, you look at the running backs, Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, and Kenneth Gainwell. I don't see a whole lot of size there.
Absolutely.
Running backs. Do you think they still hope to get Jordan Howard like after the first week when contracts aren't guaranteed, or do you think Jordan Howard will be on this team?
You know what? I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to sneak him out there. Since he didn't have much interest last year, Miami got rid of him. I think that they think that they can bring him back. They didn't want to guarantee that contract, and that's what they can do. They can maneuver guys, bring guys in, upon, when they're needed, as opposed to keep him a spot on the roster where his contract is guaranteed. I know it's a terrible way to do business, but that's the nature of what they do in the NFL. Jordan Howard is by far their best blocker on the team. He's a great blocking running back. When you give him the rock, he's going to get those tough yardage. But they see some extraordinary players, in the guys they have there. KG is a guy that, Kendall Gainwell, he can go out there and make plays, and that's what they want. They want playmaking ability. See, a lot of these players were trying to play off what they did before, And you can't do that with a new coaching staff. It's a bunch of first-time appearances that happened this offseason. And if you didn't make the best of that first-time appearance, you begin to be an afterthought. This coaching staff wants their guys there, and they'll continue to bring their guys there. And as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, they'll keep you around. But if you don't, what have you done for me lately?
All right, and Nick Sirianni named Jalen Hurts his starting quarterback. That's not exactly breaking news. Nick said, hey, no one else got all their reps with the ones like Jalen Hurts. Everybody saw that he was the one, QB1. He was out there getting all the first reps. So is it a big deal to you that he didn't announce before that Jalen Hurts was the starter? Did you get a sense that maybe Nick wanted Jalen as a younger quarterback to earn it?
Yeah, I think that's what he really wanted to do. There was really no rush in it. Everybody knew that Jalen Hurts was going to be the guy. And even though at the quarterback position, you want that sense of, all right, name me the guy. I am the guy. But they didn't do it, and which was very, very surprising to me. But, at the end of the day, Joe Flacco didn't do enough to unseat him. They said it's a healthy competition. Joe Flacco didn't do enough. And given an opportunity, I think he will play well in a backup role. But he didn't show enough to this coaching staff to beat out Hurts. So, yes, Hurts deserves to be the number one guy. He's done everything. He's crossed all his T's. He's dotted all his I's. And I didn't see enough of him in this preseason, though. I will say that. But evidently they have.
All right, Gardner Minshew. What did you think of the deal? Are you happy he's with the Eagles, or are you not happy?
Well, this is a quarterback factory, and they want to make sure they bring in the best backup they can. Now, the difference between having a guy like Foles and having a guy like Minshew's in the beginning of his career. He wants to start. He wants to play more. So it'll definitely be a healthy competition of him trying to show up, the other quarterback, because he wants to start. He wants to play. And he probably feels as though he has just as much an opportunity as Jalen Hurts. It's not like, Hurts is a first-round pick. But he can go out there and compete and play well, and he started before, had some success before, and it was even on a bad team. So at the end of the day, this goes perfect with what they're trying to preach and breed in that locker room. Competition, competition, competition. They attack sleep. They attack making sure your body's hydrated. All those things, lead to a competitive nature in that locker room. And this is just the type of signing that will put a fire, underneath Hurts. Not as though he hasn't had any fire under his belt, but still it keeps the fires burning for him to go out there and be as productive as he can be and be the best quarterback he can be.
It's also interesting because Joe Flacco did a decent job in the preseason. He had a good third game. But obviously he's not the most mobile guy. So if you have Jalen Hurts, and if there's an injury, Gardner Minshew, with his ability to roll out of the pocket, he's mobile. Does that more align with the offense they've designed around Jalen Hurts if you need a guy to go into a game?
Absolutely. Because it'll be two different playbooks that they would use with Jalen Hurts and then they would use with Joe. I mean, Joe, is good for what his purpose is, and that's to push the ball down the field. We didn't see an offense that was catered towards Jalen Hurts this entire preseason. So I really don't have any inkling of or idea of what they're going to run. Now, what they should be running is an offense that has a lot of boot protections, a lot of waggle protections. Will they pull the backside guard and have him out there with the quarterback, as a kind of guard as he throws the ball down the field, or play action? But I look to see those type of things. I look to see a lot of RPOs, run pass options throughout this, this season, because you can use, Hurts' skill set with that. Gardner Minshew, he can definitely do those same type of deals. It's kind of funny, man, the 6 degrees of separation that we have in that quarterback room. You got Nick Foles, and he was a backup to Nick Foles, came in and played well for Nick Foles, So, I mean, it's talking about a quarterback factory. They keep it all within the family, man, because Minshew is just like, a backup to a guy that we love here for the longest. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they put a statue of Minshew out. Maybe it's our time to go to the Super Bowl and he becomes the backup and wins it for us. So you never know, man. You never know.
Now, look, you have a nice beard, Barrett, but the mustache game, not quite as good as Minshew's mustache.
I got to work on it, man, because Minshew is coming out. That's one thing that he brings to the table that, you don't necessarily have in that meeting room for the quarterbacks. He brings a personality to that meeting room, and I could see him going and ruffling things up a little bit in a positive way, definitely in a positive way. But at the end of the day, I think Minshew is a guy that can come in, play well for this team if called upon. And, it's not unlike that, we haven't been in a situation before. I mean, we could also see a situation where a guy like Flacco become, great trade bait, for somebody else that, a quarterback goes down, or they need a guy that's a veteran to back somebody up, or even start and have those type of reps for him. So, it is something that you should think about, that he might be trade bait for something else.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I've heard people say, well, Carson Wentz didn't react too well to having Jalen Hurts come in behind him. Maybe Carson Wentz, when he got benched, saw how the team reacted to Jalen Hurts and they gravitated towards him. And they said, well, at this point, you kind of have Jalen Hurts going pretty good as the QB1 going into the season. Why kind of disrupt everything? But you know what I say to that, Barrett? Everywhere around the NFL, they're constantly looking at players all around the league. And if they see an upgrade at any position, and an upgrade you can get for a 6th-round draft pick, don't you do it?
Well, you have to do it. I mean, look at the whole situation in which, he's being put in. Man, you have a guy that's still young, it's great that Howie saw an opportunity to get a guy that has 2 years left on his rookie deal. You know what I'm saying? You have a guy like Hurts that has 2 or 3 years left on his rookie deal. That's not a lot of money that's in the quarterback position. They let, even though they'll have $32 million sitting in the hole for somebody that's not there for this year, but next year they're going to be sitting sweet because they have 2 quarterbacks that won't be on, that will still be on a rookie deal, that won't be asking for a lot of money, and be competitive nature inside that locker room. They'll have their picks, so it's a great situation for this team going forward, and at the end of the day, I tell people all the time when I was playing, as soon as they sign you, 5 minutes after they sign you, the ink's not even dry yet. They're trying to find somebody to replace you that's younger, faster, stronger, and makes less money than you are.
You're right about that, Barrett, and that's even the case in TV. If you start to get that gray hair,
yeah,
look out.
Exactly.
Before I let you go, Barrett, because we hear from the Eagles a lot that this team's success is going to be because of their lines, offensive and defensive lines. And you, as a guy who lived your life in the trenches, when you look at this team defensively and offensively on the lines, if they can stay healthy, where do you think it puts this team with the O-line and then the defensive line?
Well, it puts you in a position where everybody behind the offensive line and the defensive line will play better. It'll make them look better because once you can get some pressure on a quarterback, and once you can keep pressure off a quarterback, it makes you decidedly better as an offensive unit. So that way, Jalen Hurts can sit back there and push the ball down the field. He won't be harassed like he was last year playing in front of an inferior offensive line. Once you got 2 bookend tackles, and I really believe you have 2 bookend tackles right now with Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata. You have one of the best centers in the league, one of the best guards in the league. You have an up-and-coming guard in the league, and then you have a backup guard that's just as good as, everybody there. You're in a great position to really run whatever you want to run. On the defensive side of the ball, you could run any blitz you want to run, or you could not blitz, but know that you have people up front that could put pressure on the quarterback, collapse the pocket, and make the quarterback uncomfortable so he makes bad decisions. It makes everybody look better. Now we have 2 bookends at the tackle position. We have 2 bookends at the cornerback position. And when you have guys like that can play, it makes everybody else around you very, very good.
All right. Before I let you go, one final thing, because I saw you out at camp. You and I would be standing on the sideline sweating.
Yeah.
At camp. You watched Jordan Mailata a lot in training camp, preseason. Do you think that there is something special in Jordan Mailata?
You don't have to think it. You don't. He'll be a bookend for the next 10 years. They're going to have to sign him and pay him some money this year, but you can't find the size, speed, and strength of a guy like Jordan Mailata. It just doesn't grow on trees, man. You're talking about somebody that's 6'8", 380 pounds, and looks like he's, and runs around like he's 250 pounds. And he really figured it out. I thought the bell went off in his head when he was blocking Jamarcus Lawrence for Dallas. He took DeMarcus and dumped him on his head a couple of times. He's like, oh, man, if I really go and I really want to punish somebody, I can do it. And from that point on, it went in his head, all right, I'm an offensive lineman. And Coach Stoutland saw that, matured that in him, and made him one of the better tackles in the league. So at this point, as long as he keeps that progression and doesn't become complacent, the sky's the limit for this kid to do whatever he wants to do. He can make a lot of money if he turns around and thinks, all right, I haven't made it yet. I got to stay hungry. I'm still a rugby player that used to play the ukulele. Just put that down. Let's go. Let's go fight, man. And he'll be a great player.
Amazing to think that when he came here from rugby and got drafted by the Eagles, that He didn't even know how to put on a football helmet, and now he is at this point. And
Exactly.
I can't wait to see, based on that rugby video that we saw on YouTube, can't wait to see him in the screen game if they can utilize that.
Bro, he could, man. I mean, if they have a lag draw, that's where he throws the guy, the offensive line, the defensive lineman end up the field and goes to a linebacker. I just pity the fool. I mean, that Mr. TM, I pity the linebacker that he's going to put all that 380 pounds on, man. You know what I'm saying? So, I can't wait till this kid really turns around and say, I'm going to dominate every single play. And I think he has that capability of doing it.
Well, I look forward to seeing your post-game analysis of the offensive line play, and specifically Jordan Mailata, because that's saying a lot from you that you think he could be on that left tackle spot for 10 years. So that says a lot.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. And now we don't have to talk anymore about preseason. We've got regular season coming up here.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. I pity the fool.
Right.
Thanks, Barrett.
Take it easy, John.